is Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make a Rice Krispie Treat. The thing I love about this treat is that it only takes 45 seconds in the microwave. We make everything in one bowl and we end up with the perfect size treat for ourselves. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you need are half a tablespoon of butter, 3/4 cup of mini marshmallows, and 3/4 cup of Rice Krispie cereal. The supplies you'll need are a cutting board, a small mixing bowl that's microwave safe, 1/4 cup dry measuring cup, half a tablespoon, rubber spatula, butter knife, and a small piece of parchment paper. Okay, great. My hands are clean and your hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started. The very first step for this personal sized Rice Krispie Treat is to grab your small mixing bowl. Again, this is something that has to be safe to go in the microwave because we're actually gonna make all of this in the microwave in about 45 seconds, so it's really quick. So put your bowl right in front of you and then grab your butter. So we need the butter and then a half a tablespoon. So it's gonna say 1/2 TBSP. And we need to measure out a half a tablespoon of butter. So a couple ways you could do this. If you have a stick of butter and it's lined for every tablespoon, you could just do half of that. Myself, I like to just measure things so I know exactly how much I'm getting. So I'm actually gonna take my half a tablespoon and my butter and just use my butter knife that we had in our supply list and just get it into our little measuring spoon. That way I know I have exactly half a tablespoon because that's not usually something that is measured out on a stick of butter. Or if you have a tub of butter, this is a great way to do it too. Just take your butter knife, kind of scoop out your butter and measure half a tablespoon. Doesn't have to be perfect, as long as we get about that much. So I have my half a tablespoon. You can put the rest of your butter to the side, and now I'm just going to scoop it into our bowl, just like that. And you can put your half a tablespoon away because you are done with that. Same with your butter knife. The next thing we need is 3/4 cup of mini marshmallows. Now, if you have regular size marshmallows, you can use those too. I just find that the mini ones fit in the bowl better, and then when we're trying to stir them around, they don't fall out. So that's why I use mini marshmallows, but if you only have the big kind, you can definitely use that. So grab your mini marshmallows, and we need 3/4 of a cup into our bowl. So take your 1/4 cup dry measuring cup. Like I said, in the past, a lot of people don't have like 3/4 of a cup, so I'm gonna use 1/4 3 times, and that will give us 3/4 of a cup of mini marshmallows into our bowl. So 1, 2, and if you get a couple extra, not a big deal. This doesn't have to be precise, but as long as we get about 3/4 of a cup. So you can put your marshmallows to the side. We are done with those. Keep this around because we're gonna use that in just a minute. Grab your spatula, and we are now going to put this in the microwave for 30 seconds. We'll take it out, stir it, and put it back in for a few seconds, but at first it needs to go in the microwave for 30 seconds to melt that butter and start to melt the marshmallows. So I'm gonna take my little timer because I like to use specific times, and I'm gonna set this for 30 seconds, pop it in the microwave, and then we'll come back and stir it and talk about the next step. All right, so it has been 30 seconds in the microwave, and you can see our marshmallows got puffy and they're getting bigger and they're starting to melt. So we just wanna take our rubber spatula and carefully give this a stir. Now you can kind of see when we use our bowl, it needs to be a little bit of a bigger size, so as these marshmallows start to puff up, they don't fall out and go everywhere. But now we're just Giving this a little bit of a stir so that the butter gets all melted into the marshmallows. And we actually need to put it back in for 15 more seconds. So this is just the first part. And it's gonna get sticky because marshmallows are sticky when you melt them. All right, but just a little stir and 15 more seconds in the microwave. Okay. Keep your spatula nearby because we're gonna have to stir it one more time. I'm gonna set my 15-second timer, pop it back in, and then we'll be ready for the next step. All right, my friends, be careful when you take your bowl out because it might have gotten a little bit warm. So if you need some oven mitts or something to protect your hands, do that. I can just kind of carry mine at the top where it's not as hot. So just keep that in mind when you take out your bowl. But now we're gonna give it one more little stir and just gently, because if we go really crazy, that marshmallow is gonna go everywhere. So we're just giving it a gentle stir. Your marshmallows are probably gonna start to turn a little bit yellow from the butter. That's what we want. And now we just need to quickly add our Rice Krispie cereal before our marshmallows start to get too hard. This is the last ingredient, so grab your Rice Krispie cereal. And as promised, we need our 1/4 cup dry measuring cup again, and we need 3/4 cups total. So we're gonna do 3 of these again. So 3/4 cups of marshmallows went in, and now 3/4 cups of Rice Krispie cereal. So here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. And then you can set that all to the side because that was our last ingredient, and we are done with that part. Take your spatula again, and now we're just basically mixing this together. So you're gonna need to be a little bit patient because all that marshmallow is on the bottom, and we need to get it all mixed together to turn this into our Rice Krispie Treat. So just the best you can, get this mixed till you kind of see all of the marshmallow into the cereal. It's just gonna take about a few seconds here. I'm kind of holding my bowl just because it can really take some stirring power here to get this all mixed together. You just want to make sure that you see marshmallow throughout your cereal. That's the goal. And it's gonna get sticky, but that's okay. Like I said, this makes like the perfect size for just yourself, or maybe you want to share it with someone, a friend or a family member. But sometimes you want a Rice Krispie treat and you don't want to have like a whole batch or take the time to make a whole batch. So when we make this in the microwave, it just turns out to be the perfect size treat or snack for ourselves, or maybe you and one other person. But this looks pretty good. It's all mixed together. I can kind of see the marshmallow throughout. So now I'm gonna grab my parchment paper. Usually this is optional, but today it's a pretty good place to put our Rice Krispie treat when we're done to let it cool. So I'm gonna put my parchment paper right in front of me and then take my spatula and dump this out onto your parchment paper. And it's really sticky, so you just have to be a little bit patient because it likes to stick to whatever it touches. My hands are clean, so I'm just gonna grab this a little bit. All right, I'm done with my bowl. I'm gonna set that to the side. Just gonna take my fingers and get this off my spatula. Just be careful, it's still a little bit warm. And now the easiest way I found to turn this into something other than a blob is take the sides of your parchment paper and just kind of make it into a square. You can use your fingers too if your hands are still clean. But I kind of just, you know, turn it into a rectangle, turn it into a square. You can really turn it into any shape you want because you're just gonna end up eating it. But if you use the parchment paper to flatten it, it won't stick to your fingers. You can kind of see it's now turning into that classic Rice Krispie look. I'm actually gonna now let this sit here for about 2 minutes to cool, just because the marshmallow and the butter is still a little bit warm, and if you took a bite, it might burn your tongue. So let's let this cool for about 2 minutes, and then we will talk about the end. All right, friends, I have let our Rice Krispie Treat cool for about 2 minutes, so now it's not hot to the touch. But here we go, we have like the perfect size treat. I mean, I can eat this all by myself, so if you would choose to share yours, go for it. If not, in about less than a minute in our microwave, we are now able to make ourselves this delicious and crunchy and marshmallowy treat. So I do hope you try it. It's the perfect size. When you do try it, let me know how it goes. Like I always say, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. I love getting to hear from you. You can even send me a picture of how yours turned out, and maybe we'll get to share it on the next episode. Speaking of on the next episode, next week, which is episode 28, we are learning how to make air fryer scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs is a classic breakfast to know how to make for yourself, and when we cook it in the air fryer, it's quick and easy, and they turn out pretty perfect. In order to cook along and make those air fryer scrambled eggs next week, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen. 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of shredded cheese, which is optional, 1 teaspoon of milk, a pinch of salt and pepper, and cooking spray. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. It went by so fast. This was such a quick treat. But I do hope you enjoyed learning how to make this. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. Just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends.